Hello, today we will be building this latch. So let's get started. I have the drawing here. Feel free to take a screenshot of this drawing. I'm going to take a screenshot and put it on my right side of my screen. All right, so let's go create a new document. So we're going to go to OnShape, and we are using the free subscription. So we're going to go create document, and we're going to call this latch 1. So we're going to choose a view which we're going to sketch this on, and we can hide these views right here. So let's drag this WCS in, and let's click on this, and let's hide this. We can hit Y, or we can go over here and hit our eyeball. We're going to do top also. Now we're going to flatten the front view. Okay, screw this over. Middle mouse button, if you hold that down, it does pan, and right mouse button does a rotation. Okay, so let's get a sketch started. We're going to go to sketch, click on front, and we are going to concentrate on doing the profile of it, and then we'll extrude that profile. So let's go with a rectangle. So I think it's 5 millimeters width here. Type in 5, and then our total height, we're going to go with the half of this. This is symmetric, so we're going to go with 90 divided by 2, so 45. So we're still in D. Let's click on this line and this here. Then we're going to type in 45. Okay, and that is the half of it. So now we got to create the loop. So we're going to, the circle and the angle there. So let's create a line. The line's just going off. Now we'll create a circle, and then the circle here will be in line with this, but we can do that right now. Let's that circle, we'll just take it and drag it from this. You see a dotted line, we'll keep it right there. Now we're going to click there, and that circle is 30 diameter. So let's just type in 30 and automatically snap to that. So now let's connect this guy. So let's hit tangent. We want this to be tangent with this guy, and you see how it didn't snap it together. We need to extend that now. So let's go over here to extend. Okay, so we're going to extend this guy to here. All right, and now we're going to draw a line from here all the way up. So L for line. We can just go from here, and let's just go all the way up like that. Okay, L to get out of that. And now let's build another. Actually, we're going to change this to 40. There we are. Now we're going to build another one smaller inside of there. So that smaller one's going to be 30. So let's click on this dot right here, and we're just click out and then type in 30. Okay, and now we can take this and we can get rid of this one right here. So let's hit M for trim. We're going to trim that guy. We're going to trim all these guys out here, and we're going to trim that right there. So that's our basic shape. We're going to put a draft on this guy. So here to here is half of 30. So we're going to go 15. So 15, and then we got to, let's undo that. Let's lock this guy into position first. Let's hit D for dimension, and let's go from the back here all the way to this dot right here, and that's going to be 28. Okay, it says it's locked. I'll just go in here and clean up some of these. So we get an extra line here. Let's hit M. We're going to trim that guy and trim that guy. So now we can, looks like we had 2 lines sitting there. So let's go in here and let's extend that guy. So go over here to extend, take that, extend it to there. There we are. So that's 28. We'll change this here. Let's escape out of that. Let's double click on this guy right here. Let's click that 15. So it automatically created it. And then we need to make a dimension from here to here. It's 45 millimeters. So we're going to go from here to here, 45. And it broke again, but that's okay. What we'll do is we can find what is causing this to break. What is it? Okay, maybe it's one of these. Let's just click on one of those and hit delete. Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna click on this guy, hit delete. That fixed it. Okay, one of those was saying, let's undo that. Let's see what it's saying. So this is saying it's got to be, it's just saying it's a point coincident. So it's this coincident right here. So as long as I undo that coincident, it fixes it. So there we go. And if you ever want to see the constraints, we can just click on those and we can see all these constraints. We don't need all these constraints. These are kind of silly. There's quite a few constraints that don't need to be there. Just maybe one constraint. But anyway, they're not affecting my drawing right now, so I'm just going to keep it as is. So let's go finish the sketch. All right, so now we're going to take that and we're going to extrude that. Click on extrude, and we're going to make sure it says solid, new. Click on the inside area, and we're going to extrude this 100 millimeters. Now I typed in 100, it didn't take it, so let's just double click on the extrude. Click there, 100, enter, green check. Okay, so there's the beginning of our shape. And now what we can do is we can mirror that shape. Let's go over here to mirror. Click there, click mirror plane. We're mirroring about that plane right there. And we're going to add. So we're adding it to part 1. Green check. Okay. So that's the beginning of our shape. And now we can add our, our slot hole here, or our holes for the screws to go inside of this. So let's go with the first one is 25 millimeters by 9.07. It's kind of specific, so we don't actually have to put exactly what the print said, but here's why. So I think this here, we went with midpoint to midpoint, hit L to get out of that, go back to L, or hit L, go from here to here, okay, L to get out of there. And now let's draw a line from here, so L, go all the way down, so it's going to be perfectly straight. Let's click left here, make it flat, so we're going to go all the way down, L to get out of that, L to start again, another one. Make sure it's perfectly flat. Otherwise, if it's not flat, we can fix that. Hit L to get out of that. Let's click on this guy. Let's click on vertical, and it fixes that for us. D for dimension, or we just go right here, click there. We're going to take from this point to this point, and it's going to be that 25. Next one is going to be here to here, 25. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find these points right here. So that's where we want our circles. So let's click circle. We're going to click right there, and we're going to click this, and the circle size is missing, but we're going to put 5 millimeters. Okay. 5. And now if I want to make these lines kind of construction lines, they're almost like they're invisible. They won't be used for the extrusion. So let's click on this guy right here, construction. We're going to click on these 4 lines. Nope, oh, I did that. Construction, this guy, this, not that guy. Hold shift down, unselect that guy, and this guy. Again, go back here to construction. It should, yep, they're all dashed now. So that's perfect. Let's do a, we could do a green check and we can extrude those out. So let's go grab extrude, grab these circles right here, or we can go over here to sketch, and it should grab those circles all 4 at one time. All right, so let's flip those, but we can hit remove, and let's just, yep, there we go. So yeah, we can flip it like this, and they're already in the proper direction. So let's hit remove, green check. All right, and now I want to add a chamfer to those. So the chamfer, just gonna allow a lead in for that, and then allows for the screw to go in a lot easier. Green check. Okay. Now we're going to work on the barrel area. So let's click on left here. Scroll this over. Let's go to sketch. We're going to click on this top face right here. We're going to create a rectangle here to here. We're just kind of generalizing it. And then 20 millimeters in. So D for dimension here to here. We're going to type in 20. Then we're going to type in 32 for our first notch. So I'm going to create one more rectangle from here to here. D for dimension here to here. And that's going to be 32. Next one is here to here. It's going to be 68. And then the last one's going to be 80. All right. And then I don't really have it on the print, but yeah, the location of these guys right here. So let's click out of this dimension. we're going to grab this and we're going to pull this in. We're going to pull this in. All right, it's stuck to that line because it's a constraint, so not a big deal. And what I can do is I can actually stick this to this line and hit 0. Okay, so now it's on those lines. So now we go and we will extrude that through. So let's finish that sketch. Let's click on that extrude, and we're going to try to extrude that 3 right there. Okay. We're going to remove. Looks like it's complaining about this area right here. So we're going to go and fix that. So let's go back into sketch 1. We're going to find out what the constraints are in this line right here. Show constraints. And we got a whole bunch. So we can uncheck these guys, or they can not uncheck them. We can delete these guys. So delete, delete, delete. Now this may allow me to goof up this model pretty good, but let's see what happens. I should be able to grab this eventually. Yeah, I definitely want that horizontal, but this guy, perpendicular, shouldn't be a problem. And this guy, get rid of that guy. This guy, delete, delete. Okay, now we should be able to grab that line, but now we have like full constraints, full control of this line. So we gotta snap it back and do it better there. So let's fix this. We can do an extend here, or we can just simply go this point to here is gonna be that coincident. So it snaps it right to there, and that one's okay. So we can make this one coincident with this one now. Okay, and let's hit M. We're gonna do some trimming. Trim this guy, trim that guy, this guy, and that guy. Okay, there we go, and we're trimmed there. All right, so now we gotta put the distance from here to here. Let's say it's 8 millimeters. All right, we have an over-constrained model here. So let's go through and fix some of these. So let's click on that, delete that guy. And we can probably delete this guy. Let's pull this up. We can move that to wherever you want. This one too. Let's go with this one and this one parallel. So there's on the same height. And then we can hit a D for dimension. This line to here. And we're going to do, let's say, 5 millimeters. And this line to this line, let's do 15 millimeters. Okay. And we're going to pull this line in. So we're going to get out of this dimension here. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to double click on that guy. Let's see if he lets us. Yep. Okay, let's put 5. So it pulls that in a little bit. Okay. Green check. We're finished there. Let's do an extrusion. Let's click on this guy right here. Let's do a solid remove. Click on that guy. It's not letting me right now. So what I can do, I can actually grab and drag that, get it out of there. We can show sketch 3. Not sure why it kind of hides the sketches. Okay, it's actually showing it. But it's not letting me select it. So either one, I go over here to hover over it and select it like this. Or I can go over here and I can hit my tilde key, which is on the upper left-hand side of your keyboard. And then you can go to that face of sketch 3. So it kind of sees through the part and sees things underlaying within the part. All right, so we're going to solid remove part 1, green check, and that did nothing. So let's double check and see what happened there. Solid remove. Let's flip this. Okay, it was going the wrong direction. So let's grab this, pull that back out. There we go. So we can see the shape of it now. Green check. Okay, it looks like this is a little too deep. So what I can do is I can, the distance from here to here, I can decrease that by doing offset to find that distance. So I hit down here, measure, click on the little dot right there, this right here, and it says minimum distance is 8 millimeters. So I need to bring this face up 8 millimeters. Let's do that with the extrude. Double click extrude. We're going to go with the starting offset. We're going to put in here 8, enter. You can see it moved it back up. That's perfect. Green check. And there we are. Okay. So now we can actually add like a radius to this edge right here. And this looks a little small, so I'm going to go in here and modify this sketch. Let's go to sketch 3. We're going to move this to, let's say, 20. Green check, and it automatically updates that for me. Okay. So let's work on the barrel itself. So let's slide this over to the front view. Click on that, and we're going to create a barrel inside of here. Now, most likely, if you're going to be 3D printing, you're going to want this barrel to be, fairly close in size. You do want it to be different in size, probably by 0.3 or 0.4 millimeter. So with this being a barrel connector that you want to slide freely, I'm going to build it like it's 3D printed. So I'm going to make it very small, much closer to this size right here. So let's hit sketch, click on that one right there, front. Now we're going to create a circle, and we can, yep, right there. So click right there, and the size of that circle was 30. So I'm going to go with like 30 minus 0.8. So that's 0.4 on each side. And then automatically creates 29.2. Okay, green check. Now we can actually extrude that. So let's rotate that, grab this guy, and we're going to do an extrusion of this guy. And we're going to extrude that. We're going to do symmetric actually. And we'll pull it out, let's say 90 millimeters. We may have to adjust this later, but this is the start of it. And so then we would work on our little barrel right here. So let's create that little thing that extrudes off of this. So then we'll rotate it within here. So let's create that. So to do that, let's go to sketch. We're going to sketch on this guy right here. And we are going to create a circle, but we're going to use this as like our guide. So we're going to actually do a use, so project. We're projecting this, the two lines. See, those two lines just popped up. So we're going to use those, and then we're going to find exactly where this is right here in the middle. So let's do a measure. Here to here is here. For some reason, it's not taking this one there. How about there? Okay, let's redo that. Let's try it again. Measure this point. That point should let me choose this point right here. Strangely, it's not. You know what? Maybe that tilde key. Hit the tilde. I want face extrude. Okay. All right, it's not letting me get it. All right, never mind. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to extrude this line right here. Project that line. Oh, I know why it's not working. Undo that guy right there. Undo the use. So let's go back to measure that line, that dot right there, to this face right here. And we got in my Y direction, which is this direction right here, we're going with 19. So we're going to take this barrel. We're going to create a line at 19 millimeters. So just create a line. Let's hit left, hit flat. We're just going to put a line. It's a vertical line. D for dimension. Click here, and we're going to type in 19. Okay, so we got the location of that. So now let's do an extend this to this line and extend that to this line. Let's go with extend here to here, and then here to here. Okay, and now we know the general location of the center of it. Let's should be able to find the center by creating. Let's create a point right there. Okay, now we're going to create a circle, and we're going to go with so this distance here between these two is 12 millimeters. I want to go with like a 10 millimeter. So let's click there. I'm going to type in 10. Okay. And now we can actually take that and we can extrude that. So green check. We're going to take this and we're going to try to keep it off that face. So we're going to do an offset and extrude this out. So let's go with extrude. Now we won't be able to get that without hitting our tilde key, or let's click on our sketch. But it looks like, and is it working? I think so. So we're extruding. We want to do a starting offset, and we want to put in starting offset. Let's say 5 millimeters. We just want it off this face right here. So we'll kick it out, and we'll kick it about 50 millimeters. There we are. It might be a little bit too long, so let's change this to 40. Green check. So that did a solid add. Actually, I just want to do new because I want to unite it or union it to this guy right here. So green check. So now we're going to take that and we will make the little nub on the very top, a little, so you can grab this. So let's do a sketch on the very top of this. Actually, no, we can, this might be the easiest way to do it, is just sketch right on top of it and do an offset. All right, so we're sketching on this guy right here, and we're going to grab this right here, grab a circle, slap a circle on there. Let's put this at 15. We're going to finish this, and we're going to extrude that sketch, extrude that, and click on that inner one barrel right there too, so it makes it totally solid. And we're going to click this up about 10 millimeters. And we can actually merge. Let's click green, merge with this guy right here. So part 2. Nope, actually, uncheck that. Merge with this blue guy first. Then we'll merge it with this guy. All right, so now we'll merge all these together, these 2 items now. Union. We're going to union this guy to this guy. Green check. Notice this changed the same color. That means they're now together. Put a little radius on this. Fill it right there. And we're going to make this, let's say 3 millimeters. Okay. Green check. There's our barrel. All right. We may have to lengthen this or make it shorter, but that's in a second. We'll figure that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a copy of this and move it right over, and then we can do a split on that and make that our other, our locking area. So let's do a transform. We're going to click this guy right here. We're going to go with XYZ, and we're going to transform this. We can hit left here. Let's move this right out. We're going to just chop this guy, and we can put it about right there. 108. Let's go with negative 108. Green check. So notice the whole thing moved. So let's double click on transform. Let's click on copy part and then green check. There we go. All right. So now we want to get rid of, a lot of this geometry. So let's go to split. We're going to split this guy with the entity is this face right here and green check. Now we see a split line, which is great. Now we're going to delete this piece right here. So we go over to delete part right there. Click on this guy, green check, gone. All right, so now we need probably need a bolt in here. All right, so let's go and add our bolt holes to here. So let's go with a sketch on this guy right here. Click on left to flatten that. Let's create a line from, the center of that guy and all the way. He's going to be horizontal. L to get out of that. L to get back into horizontal. Line right there. Perfect. Now we're going to create a new line. L to get out. L to get back in. Midpoint of that guy to midpoint of this guy. L to get out. Let's click on our circle. Right there. And we want to do 5. Okay. That didn't take it. Left click 5. All right, so now let's make these construction lines. Click on that. And our lines to make construction. Green check. I'm sorry. Let's go to construction. They didn't do it yet. All right, now we got perfect green check. Now let's extrude those 2 holes. We can either hover over or we can go to sketch 7 and it would do the same thing. So let's extrude those solid, remove, and removing it from this part right here. Green check. Let's add that chamfer. 1 and 2. Green check. All right. And there we go. Let's hide this front view. click Y. Now we can hide those sketches if we want to. That one right there, we can go over here and click Install Eyeball. And we can change the color of this. So let's left click, right click, and then we can go to Edit Appearance. And we can change this to whatever color we want. And we'll change the color of this. We're going to left click, right click, Edit Appearance, change this to yellow. Now, if we do a rotation of this, we can see how it's going to work, and we can pull this back and see if it's going to clear it. Okay, so let's go with the transform and click right here, and we can do XYZ. Now, if we click on left here, we can move this all the way back. So this is, you can see it looks like it's hitting, but it's actually not hitting. We're clear. So that, go back to left. So we're going to go all the way over here. So that is about 48 millimeters. Yep. So we are, let's click on copy the part, green check. So we got this guy. Let's right click on that guy, and we're going to do edit appearance of that guy. He's going to be orange. And let's hide this guy. So this, we can click on that and hit Y to hide it. And we see that it totally clears. So we're good here. We're good here. And we are good here. So this would rotate down to put it into unlock state, and then we would force this forward. So now we can go over this part 2 right here and show part 2, and we can hide part 4 if we want to, and you can see that it's going to work. So part 4 and part 2, you can, you know, swap those back and forth. We could do this in an assembly, but I feel that for the beginner, this is easier to do in the actual parametric modeling software. So we can do a rotation of this. So let's click on transform. And if we wanted to rotate that, we would go rotate. And what is your axis of rotation? So click on that guy right there, and you can see it's already rotating. So let's look at that. I don't know why it's not. There we go. We can see, yeah, it's rotating now. If we want to go with 50, perfect, green check. And there we are. So we see it's locked into place. Now we might want to radius these corners or something, you know, if this has any problems. But when you 3D print this piece right here, this and this latch will print together. And of course, we have to have that small space in between, and that should not unite them, or it should not combine them together. So they should be 2 separate pieces, and they should print together. Otherwise, there's no other way to put this inside of it. All right, so that is the walkthrough of the barrel latch. So thanks for watching.